Hello everybody, this is Reviews and More, and today we are going to review the Dolphin brand E10 above ground pool vacuum. So price wise, this is about $500 on Amazon where we picked it up, and it got to us a couple days, and this is going to be a quick rundown and demonstration of the item itself. And as always, if you like the video, please hit the like and subscribe button. If it's down there in red, it means you're not subscribed, and it really does help out the channel as we get more subscribers. And leave a comment or a question if you have any, and I'll get to them as quickly as I can. Alright, so let's just kind of run through the basic stats of the item itself. It is about 22 by 17 by 13 inches. It's very, very light. I think it's about maybe 13 pounds, pretty heavy. It only works on above ground pools. That's what it's designed for. I mean, in theory, it could work on a below ground, in-ground pool, but it's not going to climb the walls. That's the main difference. This vacuum, I think there's another version of this same vacuum that's designed. That's a little more expensive, but it'll actually climb the walls. This will not really do that. It goes about halfway up the pool walls. But there's the little battery unit, sorry, the inverter unit. So that basically just lets it's the power adapter. It's like an AC adapter almost, and that's going to connect it to the actual your standard outlet, and you can plug it up outside and just run it like normal. It comes with I believe, a 30-foot cord that's going to cover most distances. Yep. So it's basically registered to actually clean a 30-foot pool. The pool you're going to see cleaned today, or a chunk of it cleaned, is 32 by 16. So I kind of stuck it in I made sure the vacuum was kind of going to a power cord that was right around the middle of the pool so it could get the full distance. The unit itself can package pretty simply. There's no assembly required. The only actual piece that you have to plug in anywhere is the actual floating power cord that you see there in blue. Connects to the actual power adapter that you just saw earlier with the little power button. There's only one button to use. It is super simple. The cleaning is simple. The cleaning is in detail will be at the end of the video. If you want to skip ahead to that, I'll probably put a timestamp in either a pinned comment or the description. But it's very easy to open up. There's a little filter basket in there, and if you're concerned about whether this thing works, you're like, wait, why don't you just tell me if it works or not? It absolutely works great. The pool you're going to see was filthy. It was essentially, this is the first cleaning of the season. We're now in April, so we're kind of setting up for things to hopefully get warmed up in May. We want to basically keep the pool nice and clean and everything propped up properly with chemicals. And the only mechanism is suction, and also that little brush there to kind of scoop stuff up and move things around. Here's a quick little display of the actual filter mechanism. All the filters are removable in the front and the back. The sides don't remove, and all you do is spray it off with the garden hose, and you'll see that at the end if you want to see a detailed demonstration of that. I'll be honest, this is about the most idiot-proof item that's out there that I've purchased in a long time. There's very few moving parts that you have any real attachment to. Like closing it is just that simple. So it's really, really easy to operate. There's no special cleaning function or maintenance you have to do outside just cleaning the filter out, which kind of takes care of itself. There you see my glorious feet, and it plugs in like that, so it won't detach by accident if the robot can't pull the plug out. So that's one thing you might be worried about. How does the robot stop from unplugging itself? And then it just screws in. I got a little off camera here, bad camera work on my part, but it just screws in once it gets plugged in. That way it won't fall out. It's really, really simple to do. The cord attachment is not terribly long, so that's the one maybe a little downside. Maybe they should have made the power cord adapter a little longer, but here you go. This is all you got to do to put it in. You just let it sink. You push it down a little bit so it takes on water a little faster, but if you just put it in there, it'll sink on its own eventually. It takes about maybe 10 seconds if you just leave it on its own. But you see how dirty the pool is. If you ever have dealt with like an Intex pool or in-ground pool, around the seams in the liner, that is where you see the most of the gunk kind of collect. And I'm going to try to differentiate in the video between the gunk itself and the actual stuff floating on top that only the skimmer can get, because this will not handle anything on top of the water. And there you saw me start it. It's just one button. It'll run for an hour and a half all by itself. No extra work required on your part. And obviously, if it sits in the pool, it's not going to go bad if it sits there extra long. So if you leave it in there or forget about it, go to the store, nothing bad will happen to the robot. It can be left in there and not be damaged. However, I will point out that the little converter box that I just pushed the on button with, that is water resistant, is not waterproof. So if you leave that out overnight or it rains, there's no guarantee you have a functioning robot afterwards. So you kind of saw it climbing up the wall there. That's about as far as it goes up, and it'll kind of readjust itself. One thing you're not going to see in the video that this pool robot does that might be a cause of concern. You might go, why is it sitting there doing wheelies? It'll start just doing wheelies in the water, like going back up on its back 2 wheels. That's on purpose, so it can basically adjust and turn. So that's kind of like an integrated turning mechanism to popping the wheelie, because there's not independent turning on this. So basically it tries to use gravity and the wheelie to kind of get it done. So, and you see the water being disturbed there by the vacuum function. So it's pumping a good bit of water through it, and it's just going to go back and forth and map out the entire pool. If you're wondering, no, it does not like remember your pool. So you unplug it. It's not like you come back and says, oh yeah, I know this pool. I know which direction I got to go. It just uses the internal computer to kind of make sure it doesn't go on the same path over and over and over again. And there you kind of see it running over all the gunk and stuff and picking it up. But it does a great job. This is the first pool cleaning of the season for this thing. And this pool was out in the open, uncovered for the entire winter. So all the springtime pollen kind of had to settle at the bottom after we put some chemicals in to make that happen. And you just see the big old mess right there, and everything you're seeing right now is all floating. So I apologize for that. I should have skimmed it, but the liner itself at the bottom, you'll notice all the gunk is off except for a couple little spots. And I ran it subsequent to this video, I ran it again, and now it's just spotless. There's just nothing on the ground. So I ran it for an hour and a half, actually today as I'm recording, so it was today that I ran it, and it's just absolutely spotless. I just didn't video it, but there you see kind of along the seams, those seam spots tend to be where a lot of gunk pops up again, but it won't reach up to the very tippy top of your liner, because your liners kind of go concave on these above ground pools by Intex, but it will get pretty much all of it in about 2 runs. And this is a big pool. This is 32 by 16. So this is a fairly large above ground pool. So it covers it all. So if you have a smaller pool, your results will probably just be that much better. All right, now let's see the actual results of real work. So did it really pick it up or just move it around or push it into the water? No. There is a ton of gunk all in this. This was all inside my pool. It is gross. It is nasty. It's just like algified pollen and every other nasty thing that, you know, gravity eventually makes go into most pools. So there you go, and we're going to show a quick cleaning of it. The inside will get dirty, so you can spray, obviously, because it goes underwater itself. You can spray this thing out with a hose, whether it be the actual robot itself or the basket. The basket, of course, you want to clean out probably after every cleaning, just because you'll lose suction pretty quickly, especially if it's like the first few cleanings of your season, or like, let's say there was a pollen bloom and now you have all this pollen all in you, because pollen is a great way to clog up a pool in general. But overall, it's very easy to operate. The filter itself, each of these little panels pops out and the bottom pops open as well. And you just kind of take a garden hose to it on a light setting and spray it out. I wouldn't go full blast with the garden hose, because you have the chance of maybe ripping some of that filter, and that would be a bummer. But it pops right out. It's very, very simple to clean. It takes maybe the entire process that I'm involved in maybe takes 10 minutes, because I got to get the vacuum out of the garage, and then I got to take it to the pool, let it run for the hour and a half that it does its job, and then I take about maybe 5 or so minutes to clean this thing out and pack it back up. So it's a very, very low maintenance option for getting your pool cleaned. The price point is kind of high compared to just like your standard suction vacuums that use the pool suction itself, like it uses the water intake on the pump basically to act as a vacuum. Those would be much cheaper, obviously, but this is automatic. It uses its own separate vacuuming system, so it's not dependent on the pump, so you're not losing water pump ability, you're not putting pressure on the pump. So this is a very good solution for that, and I will give an update at the end of the pool season for this year, basically, so probably around August, late August, maybe probably September, when we stop using the pool pretty heavily and see basically if it's been worn out, is it losing its suction power, that kind of stuff. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day, and I hope this video was helpful.